Hi, this is Ian McHale with Infinite A Industries, and today we are going to discuss why AI systems fail compliance. We're going to discuss the top 5 reasons that enterprise AI systems falter. Looking at the table of contents, we're going to cover 5 topics. We're going to talk about data sovereignty, we're going to talk about zero trust, decision transparency, human in the loop, and then also repeatable outputs. So, going to data sovereignty first. All around the globe, there's a push for data and information to stay within the borders of a country, and there are other more granular examples of this. The HIPAA laws in the healthcare industry are an example. You could imagine if you were in a hospital and the power were to go out, you would want the data to still be there on the device and to be accessible in order to provide continuity of service. The FDA provides a detailed example of this with pre market submissions for software as a medical device. And they require for medical devices like wireless pacemakers or insulin pumps, etc., that these applications must run locally or without internet connectivity. Then you also have other regulations like the North American Electric Reliability Corporation Critical Infrastructure Protection Act or regulation that mandates physical and electronic security parameters around the grid. And so there needs to be enhanced security, both physical and electronic, for any grid infrastructure. And that data also has to be processed locally. Also, if we look at zero trust as a requirement, in the United States, for example, there's federal regulations with a deadline of 2033 that stipulates the core infrastructure and organizations doing business with the government. They need to upgrade their encryption to make it more difficult, to make it harden, to get ready for quantum computers that are able to crack the encryption of everyday devices. The the organization NIST uh, in the United States has pushed forward a number of algorithms that satisfy the post quantum encryption requirements. You can try these different algorithms on your own applications. Some of them are heavier than others, some may be more robust for what you need. And then also there's a migration away from 256-bit encryption, which is your standard encryption today, to 512-bit to encryption.
1024.
So the the characters of the keys that are being provided for encryption are becoming exponentially longer and more difficult to crack. Also, you see movement away from RSA encryption, which is the standard, and then also elliptical curve cryptography, which is another standard. It's slightly more performant for RSA and used on mobile devices. Now let's look at decision transparency. So for any AI systems, organizations and regulators are going to want to be able to understand them and to peer into them and to know how they came to a decision. The Colorado Act that was passed recently and signed into law, it stipulates that regulators must have some protocols for how they came to any decision that deals with the hiring or firing of an individual. In California, they have consumer privacy laws that also stipulate that a person should have the option to have their information processed by a person. In the European Union with the AI Act, they also stipulate that for high risk AI systems, there should be a human in the loop. And also, by human in the loop, they want some type of accountability and explainability. So, looking once again at the AI Act, we discussed previously that they want a human in the loop, particularly for high risk AI systems. Also, you have the EU General Data Protection Regulation, where they want a human in the loop that can be responsible for any decisions that a system makes. The Colorado AI Act is the same way. Any system that has anything to do with hiring or firing of an individual, they want a human in the loop that can have accountability and explainability. All right, so that covers really briefly why AI systems fail compliance, primarily because they don't have one or more of one of the five areas that we covered and discussed. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day.